I have, I've had kind of a fun week. If you've been listening all week, you know, I've been a little on the edge, to the point to where, I don't know, maybe I want to spend my life as a dog, you know, dog's life. It's very popular. I'll show you in a few minutes what's happening with people who want to identify as a dog. That is finally, we've gotten to the civil rights program. Gotten it to the place to where we can finally say what needs to be said. People can choose to be dogs. But I've been, I watch the news and I watch for things that the average person doesn't necessarily watch for. If you read my daily email newsletter, which is free every day, you can get it at glennbeck.com. If you read that, you see things that media is not talking about, even conservative media not talking about. And when you start to piece all these puzzle pieces together, you see a pretty bleak picture. And we are at a place where the die has been cast, the Rubicon has been crossed, and we're here. And it is a battle. We are at war. We're in a spiritual war primarily. And too many of us don't even know what that means anymore. But we are not fighting flesh and bone. We are fighting evil, true evil. And the longer we wait, the stronger evil will become. The longer we wait, the more chance it comes to blows. And that will be the death of the Republic and the death of the American the American experiment. It will be over. And I don't know about you, but I have children. I have 4. I have grandchildren. I have 2. And I'm desperate for them to live a full, happy, comfortable life. Even if it means I give my life or I give up all that I have so they can have. And we overuse freedom and liberty. Nobody knows what that is. So they have opportunity. Opportunity. That's all I want them to have. Honestly, it has been a very tough battle, and I know you feel the same way. I've at least had the luxury of, I was going to say fame and fortune, but fame is a curse. And so is fortune in many ways. But it's a nice way to go. If you're going to go to hell, it's a nice way to go with fortune. But I've had a much more comfortable life. It's easier for me to think than it is probably for many in our audience because they have the daily bills bearing down on them all day. So we all have our own things that we're carrying through. We've all been, injured. We've all been foolish. And we've also been blessed enough to do some things that will prepare us. I've been sued. I so far haven't been arrested, but, I don't know what's going to happen next. When they're arresting just anybody, when they can arrest attorneys for giving somebody advice that's not illegal, we don't know what's going to happen next. I have worked hard to serve the Constitution. I've worked hard to serve my fellow man. I have served my God, and I can't even say to the best of my ability, but I have tried. And momentarily, occasionally, once in a while, I forgive myself for being proud of what I have created because I didn't create it. I was allowed an opportunity in America. God gave me certain abilities, and I'm a lucky man. I'm a blessed man. Still, with all of that going on, we have to realize where we are right now. I've always talked to you about we're on a highway and we're passing the exit signs and the bridge is out. Well, we are now, that point in the movie where they're on a bridge and it's either open or there's no way out, and all the cars are coming up behind them, and they're going to be killed by the bad guys, and they're like, what do we do? We're at that moment right now. What do we do? We are in what possibly is the final battle for the American way of life. The American truth, justice, and the American way. I don't really care if we're a poor nation. I really don't. I don't want to be a poor nation. I don't want to have poverty. But I do believe that we have been so misguided, we have lost our way so expertly that we have put all of our belief that what America is about success, money, ease, an abundance of food. We don't have to work hard. And that's not true. It's just not true. As we advance as a species, are we any better than the people that came before us? Are we any better than those who we say we stand against their principles? We fight with words. We fight with votes. And God bless it with politics. But we don't fight alone. I couldn't say this to you 3 years ago, 4 years ago, because we were still putting our faith in one man in the office of the President of the United States. And I think still too many people are doing that. But I know today that I'm not fighting this alone. I'm fighting this with you. We're fighting this battle with parents that will stand up. So many parents won't say anything. They'll say it privately. They'll say it to their neighbors. They'll say it to somebody else in the school board meeting. But when it comes time to stand up, they don't want their children to have any problems at school. They don't want to be a pariah in the neighborhood. But I'll tell you right now, I know there are parents all over this country that are standing up. There are moms all over this country, moms for liberty. They're conservative, they're independent. Even some of them are Democrat. A lot of them are, that are seeing the insanity in our schools. I personally am waiting for more teachers to join us. I'm waiting for the teachers who don't believe in pedophilia and Marxism to stand up and say, I reject my union. We need some courage there, gang. I mean, unless you're with Marxists and pedophiles and child mutilation, go ahead. But then I oppose what you believe. Because I am for children being children. I am for children having innocence in their childhood. I am for children being safe from predators. And I know we fight with doctors by our side. There are doctors all over the country that are against this and standing up and risking their license to stand up and say, no mutilation of children. No, you don't have to take the vaccine. No, you should be able to consult with your doctor. And if you have a different treatment that you want to try, you should be able to try it. They're doctors who know first do no harm. Scientists, the scientists that are standing up, that know that science is based on provable fact and that science is always wrong until new fact or only right until new facts come along, which makes the old science outdated and wrong. Scientists that know that the military-industrial complex wasn't all that Eisenhower warned about. He warned about the military-industrial complex becoming so big that it can control Congress, that we would be in never-ending wars. But he also warned us about education, getting into bed with the government and training a whole new generation to be slaves of an out-of-control government. He warned of a scientific complex where our scientists would no longer be able to think individually because so much of the study would be funded by the government, which was looking for answers that they wanted. When we fight today, we fight with the scientists who know that and will stand up and say, no, this is wrong. And there's lots of them. Today we fight against the mainstream media, but we're fighting in a different way. We used to have to fight them with every fact and everything else. Now with the new media, something that when I started the Blaze 12 years ago, people said I was insane. This would never work. You can't get past the mainstream media and the big networks, and yet we did it. And look what has spawned from that. Now we are fighting with the voice of a new media where soon, and I mean very soon, the mainstream media has to answer to us. We are no longer in a position to where we have to answer to them. We have to say what they are charging and then, prove them wrong. Instead, they're going to be in the position very soon where they have to prove us wrong. And that has taken a toll on so many people in the media that got out and risked everything and came to the new media. And they're still coming. We're now fighting with actors and actresses and writers and directors and gaffers and cinematographers and stage people that have had enough of the insanity that are now coming to something even newer than the new media, and that is the new Hollywood, for lack of a better term. We have seen amazing advances from the Jesus Revolution to The Chosen. Those are not low-quality conservative films. That is the highest quality. And we're now making inroads to distribution. Once we have full distribution, the whole world changes. We fight with Mike Lee. We fight with father and son Rand and Ron Paul. We fight with Chip Roy and Ted Cruz. We fight with the members of the Freedom Caucus. And there are many others in Washington, in Congress, in the Senate, that are actually fighting. We are also fighting with others in Washington, like whistleblowers. Have you noticed the number of whistleblowers? And we also fight with people who are silently standing in place, not abandoning their posts and trying to protect what they can from the inside. We fight for the rule of law, the Constitution. We fight for the rights of all mankind. We fight with posts on Facebook and X and Instagram, blah, 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 100 other places. We get to raise our flags. We fight it every day at a gun range. We fight it when we buy the hunting license at Cabela's. In our hearts, we know we don't care about the stupid bear, the black bear, the deer. In our hearts, we actually have compassion for these animals, and we take their life to feed our families. It's not a sport where we kill them and leave them on the side, as the media would have you believe. It's not brutal and grotesque. That's why we go to the firing range, because we have a responsibility, if we're going to hunt, to take the animal down in one shot. We have a responsibility to, if we carry a gun and we're seeing a crime and people in danger, that we pull our gun out and we don't get other people killed, including ourselves. We care about being outdoors. We care about the land. We care about the timber. We care about the smell of pine and how cold the waterfall is coming off a glacier. We care about these things.